Yeah, yeah. So, Nemo, tell us about why you have come to Australia.
Yeah, indeed. It's the question I keep asking. But in the beginning there was a dream.
Wait a second.
In the beginning there was a dream. When people ask me and they want to hear the technicalities of it, how, what kind of transport brought me here and so on. But I think we have to start with the inner motivation. Growing up in communist Russia was confining in a way that we knew about the Iron Curtain, and we basically were kept inside. The world outside ourselves was largely closed to majority of people, and rare few who did manage to get away were under scrutiny of Communist Party, um, and people were screened for their political correctness, for avoiding the perils of capitalist brainwashing. And of course, as people are, they were curious about that which is forbidden. And I had been lucky that I grew up in a family where my dad had an opportunity to go overseas on a fishing boat. And upon returning home, he would frequently have conversation with his mates or with my mom over the table, describing the delights of the Western life or life abroad, and often recalling how traditional political view of West been somewhat corrupt and unfair, contradicted with what he saw. What he found was the world of healthy, colorful economies, people being wearing diverse clothes. The aspect of self-expression was well realized compared to that in Russia, where everybody would be rather uniform in our thinking and our haircuts and what we wear. And so, of course, I was curious. Curiosity killed the cat, and I'm still alive. And I had an opportunity later on in my life to work on a fishing boat like my dad. And one of the boats was sent all the way to New Zealand. And I grasped onto this opportunity because Australia and New Zealand seemed to me as far removed as possible from the world of my origins. And I guess people in Australia may think in the same terms about some Siberian wilderness. So we often look at the horizon and think, what is there, right? It's not only Sagittarius types that do it. And it happened so that our boat was in Auckland undergoing some repairs, and we had a spare time of about a month to wander around the Auckland city and look what's there. By that time, I was firmly convinced that New Zealand is the country where I want to be. So it wasn't Australia, but it was close enough. The wilderness, it was not so much political systems or even social systems that attracted me. I've always been attracted to wilderness. I've always been attracted to this ocean. This expanse, the space is another big one. You don't want to be crowded. Hell is other people. Here we don't have to live in hell because we got space for ourselves. And those few people, they don't really mind what I say or do. There were some details, of course. I met a beautiful woman who took me in, and we got married, and I got my New Zealand citizenship. And in New Zealand, I was developing quite healthily, getting to know meditation, later on becoming enrolled on marine biology course. And everything would be fine if I just stayed there. But, of course, that was not enough. There was Australia, this big brother, just next, across the ditch. And I buy this ticket on a boom, interrupting my studies, coming on return ticket to Australia, only to get stuck here for the rest of my life. What an imprisonment. So I'm like a convict now, huh? Everywhere in Australia I traveled first before coming here. People I encountered, other travelers, they all say, look, people like you with your brain, they should go to Byron Bay. I couldn't understand. What's there in Byron Bay? Why people like me should go to Byron Bay? Or they'd say Nimbin, or they'd say Rainbow Land. And eventually, after 2 years of cruising around Australia, I arrived here. And what do you know? The grass is greener on this side. Speaking of the grass, you know, that was another reason we stayed here, I guess. I discovered this locally grown grass, and that was another major highlight. That sort of grounded me completely. I didn't know if the world outside worth exploring. It was the inner world that was fascinating enough. I knew then. It's not the external picture that meant to be explored. I need to explore this, I need to explore this. I need to understand how the way I see the world changes the world completely. In fact, I'm still like this. I just went overseas. I was bitterly disappointed that it didn't move me. It just annoyed the hell out of me. So yes, that's the short story. Now I've got a family. Kind of. I've got my son and his mom, who not compatible with a person like myself, which is just not compatible. She's like a horse, I'm like a monkey. Astrologically, just those creatures don't get together. And even my son turns out to be not very kind of smart and clever, or he doesn't read books. He's not interested in music. You know, there's so many disappointments mounting, but of course I love him because he's my only son who's there to love. Still, I'm struggling, to be honest, at the moment to find some sort of meaning in life because I'm growing older and I feel like I haven't really found what is it. I haven't found the purpose, apart from like momentary state of amazement or contentment, like my friend says. And then you can sort of string these moments and build a life which is okay. But as we know, we compare our lives to those other lives, especially the social media allows us to see so many images of other people that we feel like envious. Come on, Cuba Verde, come on. People just been everywhere, doing everything, and what am I doing? Waking up to the same cup of coffee, starting this smoky fire. It's just... So I've come to this place where I'm no longer content with my life. I begin to question all the choices I've made because, of course, we judge all our life from the momentary perspective. Say if I was high now, which I'm not, or maybe I got lucky and I had some beautiful juicy girl next to me, right? And I would say, oh, I'm so happy with all the choices that I made because now I'm happy. But if now I'm happy, the whole past seems to be a waste. So, well, the moment is still valid, so that reminds me, okay, meditation is overdue, detoxing is overdue, I'm finished in vodka bottle, I try not to buy a new one, like my friend says, because it's a colon cancer possibly, and worse nightmares, psychological degradations. Well, it's not something to worship, isn't it? Oh, I became a better human because I started drinking vodka regularly. That changed my life, that just a shot of fire in my guts unfurled me. I felt so much more fulfilled, so much more confident. Just a little shot goes a long way. But reality is not that. Reality is that I'm scrambling for attention, and these friends of mine giving it to me, they say, come on, Nima, we'll record you. You're worth something. Don't run away. Any more questions?